In the yesterday's class, we've started long time, couple of days. We have started with module 2, and we have done what is. We'll just cover it. What we've done. First, we have started what is access specifiers. So in that we have a public, private, protected, and default. And we have seen default, what is private. We have seen what is public, protected, and how to control them. So we know that Java access modifiers, we know these are the four, that is private, public, protected. And what are non-static, non-access modifier, that is static, final, abstract, synchronized, and volatile. So these are the non-access modifiers. And we have seen what are the levels that access levels can be done. So then pass objects to method. How do we pass objects to the method? So that's what here in this program we have just seen how the constructors and two constructors with parameter, without parameter, and two methods with different parameters, and one method with two variables. Then we have seen so many methods and how to calculate area of a triangle, area and perimeter. And we have just passed some values and changed the values and displayed. So, and parameters and arguments. So here in this case, we have passed only single argument, and we have seen this is the output. So if we pass multiple arguments, more number of arguments if we pass. So what is the output of this part? So here we have passed the name as well as the age of a particular person. So here we are passing multiple parameters and how the program is. Then how the return objects from a method is. So in this we have just seen about the value 20, where we have passed just 10, and it is passed with multiplied with the 2 and getting the value. So then what is method overloading? So method overloading, it's the same name as that of it will be having the same name, but at least what is the conditions in the method overloading. So the return type should be different, and number of parameters what we pass to the method should be different, and only a variables. So it can be of int, float, and double. It can be anything. So the data types at least should be changed. That's what the method overloading says to us, and we have seen the programs on that. Then how the constructor overloading will be done. So we have seen this, how the constructors. So in this case, we have taken two constructors, one with two parameters, that is int and string, another with the three parameters, int, string, and the int. And a difference between constructor and a method, that is Java constructor and a Java method. So then we have seen what's the difference between the constructor and the method. And we have started with recursion. So what is a recursion? Recursion is function calling by itself is called as a recursion. So we have seen about Java recursion. So we have seen about a Fibonacci series, adding a function, adding the previous two numbers and generating the next number. So then what is static? Understanding what is a static. So static variable where it will share the common property or common memory location. And we have seen how we declare a static. Then what is a static method? So that was a variable, and if we declare it as a static method, so then how it is. So then we have seen about one program. Then restrictions for the static method. There are two restrictions for the static method. The static method cannot use non-static data members or call non-static method directly. This and super keyword can be used in cannot be used in a static context. This you have to remember, the second one. So because we generally forget and use it, but whenever you are using a static, you should not use a super keyword and this keyword. So that's what the Java. Then we started with the Java inner class. Same way how we know if within one more if or within one more for. Similarly, a class within one more class is called as an inner class. So this is a syntax where the outer class and the inner class are been syntax for it. So then what are the advantages of inner class? So the nested class represents a special type of relationship that is it can access all the members of outer class, including private. Nested class are used to develop more readable and maintainable code because it is logical group and interface in one place only. The code optimization is also less to write a code. That's what the Java inner class. So then we've seen what are the types of nested class. First is non-static nested class and a static nested class. Again, in static nested class, we have a member inner class, anonymous inner class, local inner class. So then what types and description. So then variable length argument. So what is a variable length argument in Java? Can have zero or multiple arguments. The variable length arguments are most useful when the number of arguments to be passed to the method is not known beforehand. So that's what here we can see the demo for that. So then now let us understand the above program. Then what is the inheritance? We have started the properties acquiring from a base class to the derived class is inheritance. And why should we use an inheritance in Java? So there are two main reasons why we have to use inheritance in Java. One is method overriding. So what is method overriding? Runtime polymorphism is achieved in the inheritance in Java. Then next one is a code reusability. Then terms used in inheritance, that is class, subclass, superclass, reusability. So then this is what class A and class B. So then class A, members of a class A, then class B extends A. So then Java inheritance example, employee, programmer. So you can see the class employee, float, salary, class programmer extends employee. So int bonus, and we've taken 10,000 and how it has been displayed. And this is one more program where ij and method show ij is there, and that is extended to a derived class with one more variable declaring k and show k and calculate the sum of all the three, and creating an object for both superclass as well as a base class. And in superclass we are assigning for ij as 20, 10 and 20, and in subclass we are assigning 7, 8, and for the k value it is 9. Then first display them, then after change to the value we are displaying them and calculating the sum. Then we have seen about types of inheritance. Single inheritance, there will be only one base class and there will be subclasses. This is an example for a single inheritance. Then we have started with multi-level. So you should remember what is the difference between multi-level and multiple. So multi-level means one with one level, next level, next level. So that is what is called as a multi-level. So you can see in this picture A, B, C, D. A is a base class, B is a derived class. Again in turn, B is a base class, C is a derived class, and then D. So like this we have, that is what is called as a multi-level inheritance. So class, main class, then dog, then baby dog. So like this we take them. So why multiple inheritance is not supported in Java? Consider a scenario where A, B, and C are three classes, and we have seen what the C classes are doing. So that's the same example, again repetitions here. What we have done here, A, B have same method that is called as a message. In message we have a hello and welcome, and class C is using both A and B. Then the compiler will get confused which one it has to take, whether message A or message B. Then yesterday we have started with member access and inheritance, that is public, private, protected, and default. This was with respect to inheritance. So that's what we have seen. If you declare either method or variable as a public, it can be accessed even outside the class also, and within a class. So that is a representation here. We can see the arrow marks, the lines with dotted lines represents that method 2 and method 3 is accessing both variable 1 and a method 1. Then private, if we declare private variable, both variable and a method, then it cannot be accessed outside the method. Outside the class it cannot be accessed. So then what are the limitations? And we have seen one example for this. So then what are the consequences? So in case we have just seen if both are private, if both are private, then we cannot access outside the class. But if only variable is private and method is public, then it can be accessed within the class, as well as we can access outside the class also with the help of the method, but not the variable. So that's what here private says to us. Then we have started with a same just explanation about the access members and inheritance. So one small program where method two variables with designation college, we have assigned it as a private, and other methods get designation we have assigned it as a public, set designation as protected, get college name is protected, set college name is protected, and does it is a method where teaching. Class Java example extends teacher. A string main subject, that is physics, public static void main. So then how this is, so Java example object equals to new Java example, and we have just displayed how this is working. That is beginner books, teachers, physics, and teaching. And we have seen one program how this is working. So then the triangle class will not compile, and it will be not working. So then next, constructor and inheritance. So we have just already seen what is a constructor, how it is. So well, let us take some more program and see how it is working. That is parent class. We have a constructor of a parent, and in Java class we have a one more constructor called as a Java example. Then constructor of a child, and calling this Java example, that is constructor of a parent, constructor of a child. Then using super to call super class constructor. Then super keyword in Java is a reference variable that is used to refer parent class object. So that the keyword super came into picture with the concept of inheritance. It is majorly used in the following context. So we can see class person and class student extends person. Then message, then in display, we can see message is in the base class as well as message is in the derived class, and we are calling those two methods using the display method. And here we are creating an base derived class object, that is S, and calling a method called as a display. So then using super to access super class members. So you can see class A is having a constructor, class B is having a constructor. In class A we have a variable I where it is given a value as 20. So in the same way here also int I, that is 30. So A and B. So here class C extends B. So int I equals to 40. Then display C. So why display? System.out.println, then system.out.println. So here first it will just display I, and here the parent class. We are creating an object for a C class and calling an display function and displaying them. So because we know that constructors, as soon as the object is created, the constructors will be automatically called. So it starts displaying first as a parent class, then subclass, then the main class, then calling a I value. So what is there in I value? So I value first within the class I value is 40. Then previous parent it is 30. So then it will be displayed. Then we have seen about creating a multi-level hierarchy. So this we have seen A is a base class, B is a derived class, and C is again a derived class for B. Now B becomes a parent class. This is called as a multi-level. And one more example with the multi-level we have seen. So then when constructors execute, as we know, as soon as we initialize the object, the constructors automatically will be called. So that's what constructor of any class gets and executed only when an object of that class is being created, either dynamically using a new or local. So the object memory is allocated. The field variable with initial values are initialized, and then the constructor is called, but its code is executed after the constructor code of the object superclass. At the byte level, an object is created, but not initialized. And how the order of execution of initialize block at the constructors in Java. Static initialization blocks will run whenever the class is loaded first time in JVM. So initialization block run in the same order in which they appear in the program. So instance initialization block are executed whenever the class is initialized and before constructors are invoked. They are typically placed above the constructor with the braces. So this program, so what it says, it will be calculating I start from I equals to 0, then I is less than 100, it keeps adding the value and we get the output as 9900. So then super class reference at the subclass objects. So the super keyword in Java is a reference variable which is used to refer immediate parent class object. Whenever you create the instance of the subclass, instance of a parent class is created implicitly, which is referred by a super reference variable. Usage of Java super keyword. Super can be used to refer immediate parent class instance variable. Super can be used to invoke immediate parent class method. Then super can be used to invoke immediate parent class constructor. So one by one, first one, immediate parent class instance variable. So this is an example where black is in derived class, white color is in a base class. So, and we are calling first creating, and we are creating an object for a derived class. So black will be printed first, later the base class will be printed. Next one, super can be used to invoke parent class method. We can see here class A, where the system.out.eating, and eat is a method in the animal class, and class dog extends the animal. So this is what the inheritance, we want the properties of base class. So animal within a dog. And again in this we have one more method called as eat, where this system.out. Where what we are printing, we are saying that eating bread. So then barking, system.out, this is one more method, and void work. So this is also one more method. So then super.eat. So what we are doing, we want to call the base class. So that's the reason we are using the super keyword. So then bark, just calling the bark within the class. Then create a object for a derived class. So that is with respect to D, and call D.work. So what is this D.work is doing? D.work is calling super.e and bark. So what is super.e? Super.e is eating. So then what is the bark? Is barking. Only these two will be the output. Next one, super is used to invoke parent class constructor. So using the parent class constructor. So what is a parent class constructor in this program? Animal is a parent class, and in that we have a constructor called as a animal. Then system.out.println, animal is created. Then class dog, dog is a derived class, extends animal. So then dog and super. So dog is again a method constructor for a derived class, and within the constructor we are calling it as a super. Again in dog constructor, we are just saying that dog is created. Then creating a main method. So class super and public static void main and string. Then dog D equals to new dog. And because we can see here super is there, so previous constructor is called, so animal is created, this will be printed. After that dog is created, that is dog is created. So this is how the super is used to invoke parent class constructor. So in the real life example, how the super is used. So once you join for a company, you should know how to use a super keyword in your projects. So let us see the real use of super keyword here. Employee class inherits a person class so that all the properties of person will be inherited to employee by a default. To initialize all property, we are using parent class constructor from a child class. In such way, we are reusing the parent class constructor. So here what we have done, so same class person, and we are using ID string, and we are creating a constructor. In that, what we are passing, we are just passing a ID and a name. So, and we are using this keyword, this dot ID, we are assigning a ID to the parent class. So then we are creating one more derived class, employee, and extends all the properties from the person. So again, we are just using the salary. Then employee constructor is created where we have ID, name, and the salary. Then super ID, comma, name. Reuse parent constructor. So then this dot salary equals to salary. Void display system.out.println, that is ID, name, salary. So then class test super, public static void means string and arguments. Then employee even equals to new employee one, Ankit, and for the even dot display. So like this we use the test dot super. So then one more, that is super class, just one more program, just to learn how in the real world or in your projects you have to use a super. So int num equals to 2, we are just taking one variable with a number and assigning that to a 2. So then calling a first method, main method, and in this we are calling creating an object s, and s dot super method, s dot method. So here super method is in a super class. Then num is in a super class that we are just printing. That is super method and a method. And the subclass, so super class, whatever is there, we are extending that to subclass. And here the num value we have changed it to 5, and method we are displaying it, and super method also we are displaying it. And because we are calling here changed method, changed super method in the subclass, and the number 5 will be displayed, not these two. So that is an example with the super. So then we have just seen about a method overloading. Now let us see what is method overriding. So if subclass, that is a child class, has the same method as declared in the parent class, it is known as a method overriding in Java. So what is overriding? Can anyone say what is overriding? Yes. Can anyone say what is method overriding?
If the base class and the child class have the same method name, then you set to a method overriding.
Yes, correct. So what we say, method overriding, if I'm repeating again, if subclass, that is child class, has the same method as declared in the parent class, it is known as a method overriding in Java. In other words, if a subclass provides a specific implementation of the method that has been declared by one of its parent, it is known as a method overriding. Let us see one program. Before that, the usage of, why do we require this method overriding? So method overriding is used to provide the specific implementation of a method which is already provided by its superclass. Method overriding is used for runtime polymorphism. Why do we use a method overriding? Runtime polymorphism. So then rules for, what are the rules we have to follow when we are using the method overriding? So method overriding must have the same name as the parent class. Method must have the same parent as in the parent class. There must be a is relation in the inheritance. That's what the rules for Java method overriding. The method must have the same name as in the parent class. The method must have the same parent as in the parent class. The method will be having a is a relationship in the inheritance. Okay, let us understand the problem without method overriding. If we don't have method overriding. So let us understand the problem that we may face in the program if we don't use a method overriding. So here we have a vehicle. In this vehicle, we have a run. This is a parent class. And in the child class, we have a bike where a vehicle is inherited. And we are in the same child class, we are creating a main method. And in that, we are creating an object for a bike, that is a derived class, and calling a base class method, that is run. So vehicle is running will be displayed, but uh, what this is happening, so it is not overriding the it is not matching both. So then one more example of a method overriding. In this example, we have defined the run method in the subclass as defined in the parent class, but it has some specific implementation. The name and parameters of the method are the same, and there is a is relationship between the class. So there is a method overriding. Okay. The same example, let us see with how method overriding is used in the Java programming. Okay, same way class vehicle. So the same run method where vehicle is running. Then the child class, that is bike to extends vehicle. Then void run. So here we are using a same method as that of the base class run. So whereas here what we are displaying, bike is running safely. So then creating an object for a bike2. So the bike2 is one more class. Then calling a parent class. Now, we are just calling object dot run. So which run it has to take? It will definitely take a derived class. Bike is running safely. So that's what the difference between the last program and this program. In the last program, it was using a base class properties, but here it is using a derived class properties. Okay, let us take one more example. So example with one more example for Java method overriding. Consider the scenario where a bank is a class that provides functionality to get the rate of interest. So we have, let us assume that we have a rate of interest varies according to the banking. So for example, if we have SBI, someone has logged in. Okay, no. Okay, so here what we are doing, SBI, ICICI and Axis banks, they are giving a interest. So SBI is giving 8%, ICICI is giving 7%, and Axis Bank is giving a 9% rate of interest for the amount. So for this, let us write a program. So this is how the scenario. So the bank, so this is a bank, and we have a method called as a rate of interest and of data type float, and where this is a base class, and in this base class is used for all the three banks, that is SBI, ICICI and Axis, but all three have their own interest. So SBI is giving how much is interest? 8%, and ICICI is giving 7%, and Axis is giving 9%. So like this, there is a method rate of interest, but with the different values. Let us write a same with respect to code. So first we are taking SBI extends where bank. So bank we have taken, and in that bank method get rate of interest. So what is SBI giving? Returns 8. ICICI is giving 7. So then Axis is giving 9. So then create one base class SBI, creating objects for all the three subclasses. So S is for SBI, I is for ICICI, A is for Axis. So with respect to all this, we are just displaying them. So SBI rate of interest is 8, ICICI rate of interest is 7, Axis rate of interest is 9. So then overridden method support polymorphism. Polymorphism in Java is a concept by which we can perform a single action in different ways. Polymorphism is derived from two Greek words, poly and morphism. The word poly means many and morphism means form. So polymorphism means many form. So what is polymorphism? Poly So polymorphism in Java is a concept by which we can perform single action in different ways. So what is this polymorphism is? Polymorphism is derived from two Greek words. Poly means what? Many. Morph means what? Form. So that's what? Many forms. Polymorphism means what? Many forms. So there are two types of polymorphism which you would have already known: compile time for polymorphism and a runtime polymorphism. So we can perform polymorphism in Java by both the method overloading and method overriding. If you overload a static method in Java, it is example of compile time polymorphism. Here, if we focus on runtime polymorphism in the Java. So here what we have done, class A and class B. So class A is a base class B is a derived class, extends the base class and creating an object for upcasting. So we are just casting, we can use the reference variable of a class type or a interface type. For example, interface is I, class A, class B. So here extends, implement, extends we are using for classes, implements we are using for interfaces. Here the relationship of B class could be B is a relation with A, B is a relation with I, B is creating an object. So that's what here we can see B relationship between with A, with I, with itself. So let us take one small example and see how this runtime polymorphism is working. So here we have a class called as a shape. In that we have a method called as a draw. So in this draw method, what we are doing, we are just displaying in a println statement as drawing. And we are using one more rectangle and we are taking a shape as a from a base class. A rectangle is a derived class. Again, we are using a draw method. But here what we are doing, we are just displaying a drawing rectangle. We are not calculating, we are just displaying them. In the same way, circle, we are taking from a base class, that is shape, that is extended, and here we are saying drawing circle. So in the same way, triangle, again we are displaying a triangle which is extending a shape, and here we are saying drawing triangle. So then class does polymorphism, public static void main string arguments, shape s equals to new triangle, s dot, what we are doing, we are creating a one object s. The same object is used for rectangle, the same used for draw, same used one more, again we are creating circle, we are creating for a triangle, and draw is for what, there are so many methods here, draw. After creating an object s, we are saying draw. So what is first one, rectangle, so draw rectangle will be displayed. After that, circle, so it will go for a circle, draw a circle. Then we have called a triangle, so the triangle will be displayed. So that's what is called as a Java runtime polymorphism. So next, what is abstract class? So abstract means what, hiding complete detail. I don't want everyone to view everything. So then in that situations you can use a abstract class. So what is a class? A class which is declared with the abstract keyword is known as an abstract class in Java. It can be abstract and non-abstract methods. So before moving on abstract classes, what is abstraction? Abstraction is the process of hiding the implementation details and showing only functionality to the user. Another way, it shows only essential things to the user and hides the internal details. For example, sending SMS where you type the text and send the message. You don't know the internal processing about the message delivery. Abstraction lets you focus on what the object does instead of how it is does. Ways to achieve abstraction. There are two ways to achieve abstractions in Java, that is abstract class or interfaces. What are the ways we can do the abstraction? There are two ways which we can do the abstraction in Java. One way is using the abstract class. One more way is using the interface. So, what is why we are using a abstract class. A class which is declared as abstract is known as abstract class. It can have a abstract and non-abstract method. It needs to extend and its method implement. It cannot be instantiated. Points to remember about abstract class. An abstract class must be declared with an abstract keyword. It can have abstract and non-abstract methods. It cannot be instantiated. It can have uh, it can have a constructor and static method also. It can have final method, which will force the subclass not to change the body of the method. So that's what here taken one small example. So we have told that abstract class class name is a bike. In that again the method is also abstract, that is a run is also a abstract method. So then we are taking it as a Honda 4 extends a bike. So bike is a base class, Honda 4 is a derived class. Again in a derived class we have a run, but this is not a abstract class, but it is not returning anything. We are just printing running safely. So then we are creating an object for Honda 4 and object.4. So then rules for abstract class. So then abstract class must be declared within an abstract keyword. So how to declare a abstract? So abstract class must be declared within an abstract keyword. It can have abstract and non-abstract method. It cannot be instantiated. It can have final method. It can have constructor and a static also. So the same way shape, so which we have seen just now, but with respect to abstraction. So abstract class shape, abstract in that method also. In method also we are taking it as a draw is also abstract method, and we are saying a create. In that create method called as a draw, but it is drawing a rectangle. Then circle, drawing a circle. So then creating abstraction display, then create an object S. So then S dot draw. Okay. So abstract class having a constructor, data member, and a methods. So in abstract class can have an abstract method, data member, abstract method, method body, non-abstract method, constructor, and even a main method. So abstract class bike. So bike system.out.bike is created. Abstract void run. A void change gear system.out.println gearing gear changed. So this in this case we are taking bike as abstract, and run is also abstract method. So then Honda we are taking, in that run is used, running safely. So again we are creating an object obj, then call the run method and a change gear. So because we are calling a run method, so first one bike is created will be displayed because it is a constructor. Then it will move to the run because we have used it as a run. So run is running safely. So then later change gear method we are calling. So it will go to a gear changed. So these are the outputs for this program. Okay. So last but one topic, that is final, using a final. So why do we use a final? I don't want further to be inherited. So then we use a final keyword. Sometimes we will want to prevent a class from being inherited. To do this precedes the class declared with final. Declaring a class as a final implicitly declares all of its methods as final too. As you might expect it illegal to declare a class as both abstract and a final, since an abstract class is incomplete by itself and relies upon the subclass to provide complete implementation. So what are the final keywords used in Java? Where should we use? The final keyword in Java is used to restrict the user. Final keyword can be used in many contexts. So final can be used for variable, methods, and a class. We'll see one by one. So final keyword can be applied with the variable. It can a final variable that have no value, it can be called as a blank final variable or uninitialized final variable. If it can be initialized by the constructor only, the blank final variable can be static also, which will be initialized in the static block only. We have detailed learning of this. Let's see first learning of the basic final keyword. So what is a Java final variable? If you make any variable as final, you cannot change the value of the final variable. For examples of the final variable, there is a final variable speed limit. We are going to change the value of this variable, but it cannot be changed because the final variable once assigned, a value cannot be changed. So what are the properties we have to remember about a final keyword? Stop, what the final will do, it will stop value changing, stop method overriding, and stop inheritance. These are the things which we have to remember when we are saying a Java final keyword. So then let us see one small example. If we use a final and we try to change. Okay, so now bike is one class, and in that we are saying speed limit is 90, and we are saying speed limit is final, and we are calling a run method, and speed limit we are changing to 400. But bike, and we are creating an object and we are calling a method. We'll get a error because first we told it as speed limit as 90, and later we're saying speed limit as 400. So then this program will get an error because we have told speed limit is a final. So this 90 cannot be changed. So that's the reason this will be having an error. Next one, Java final method. So that earlier was for a variable, now for a method. So now suppose the same thing, class bike, run is a method where we are saying it is a final. And in that system.out.println, we are just saying running. And we are using a Honda as a derived class and extends a bike. So we are calling a bike. And void run. In the void run, we are changing it running safely with 100 kilometers. So then creating an object for that and creating calling a run method. Because it is calling a run method and we are changing something and we told in the base class it is a final, then you'll get an error here. Because here we have told run is a final. And again in this run we are changing the display part. So then this also will give us an error. Okay, last one with a final class. So if I declare as a bike itself as a final class, so then we are extending the Honda one and running safely with that and creating an object for Honda, then calling a method called as a run. So then also you'll get a error because we cannot extend the final class because bike is a fine. We have told it is a final class. Then we are using it in a Honda one. So then this program also will give us a error. Is final method inherited? Yes, final method is inherited but cannot override it. So example, final void run, so running. So then here we are calling Honda 2 extends bike, public static void one. Then new Honda dot run, we are calling it as a run. And what will be the output? Running. So then final topic in this one, in this part, that is object class. So what is object class? So now first one we have seen already toString. So what is this toString built-in method is doing? Provide string representation of an object and use to convert object to string. So what is this toString is doing? We'll be having an object class, and that object class we are converting it to a string. So the default toString method for class object returns a string consisting of the name of the class of which the object is an instance. Then the hash code for every object, that is JVM, generates a unique number which is hash code. It returns a distinct integer for distinct objects. A common misconception about this method is that hash code method returns the address of the object, which is not correct. It converts the internal address of object to an integer by using an algorithm. Then we have seen a get class returns the class object of this object and used to get actual runtime class of the object. Then finalize method. This method is called just before an object is garbage collector, it is called by a garbage collector of an object. When garbage collector determines whether that there is no more reference to the object, we should override a finalize method to dispose system resources, perform cleanup activities, and minimize memory leaking. Cloning and notification. What is cloning? It returns a new object that exactly the same as this object. Then notify resumes execution of the thread waiting of the invoking object. So this completes your second module. With second module is done. So any doubts you can ask me. Any doubts? Any doubts with respect to second? Okay, one more thing I just want to inform you people. So in case if you have internals, you'll be having first and second modules. I'll be sharing the second module PPT also today. So I have sent you the PPT of first module, and today I'll send a second module. So in case if you have internals, you'll be having a first and second. Yeah, answer your attendance, Anaga. Anaga is
Yes,
here.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Abhilash.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, second hour you left, sir, yesterday. First hour you were there, second hour you were not there. Akhil.
Yes, ma'am.
Same case. First hour you were there, second hour you were not there. Akrut.
Yes, ma'am.
Even you didn't answer in the second hour. You don't say I was present again. Anusha.
Yes, ma'am.
Arvind.
Present, ma'am.
Arifullah.
Yes, ma'am.
Deneka.
Present, ma'am.
Banu Prakash. Bhargav.
Yes, ma'am.
Even yesterday you left. Rahmatullah.
Present, ma'am.
Even yesterday you left in the second hour. You were not there for the second hour class. Chaitra. Chandan.
Present, ma'am.
Chandana. Charan.
Present, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday afternoon class you were absent, sir. Darshan. Diksha.
Diksha,
Put that
present,
in
ma'am.
the chat box, ma'am.
Diksha, she is not present for the yesterday class. Dakshayani.
Present, ma'am.
Kishan is put in the chat box. Harshit.
Present, ma'am.
Yesterday
Ma'am,
afternoon
yesterday
class.
second class I was there, ma'am. Second hour class.
Yeah, I have marked you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hemalata.
Present, ma'am.
Uma.
Present, ma'am.
Jayant.
Present, ma'am.
Yesterday second hour you were not there. Divya.
Yes, ma'am.
Kaushik.
Present, ma'am.
Lakshmi.
Present, ma'am.
Lavanya.
Present, ma'am.
Manish.
Present, ma'am.
Manoj.
Yes, ma'am.
Second hour you were not there. Mohit.
Yes, ma'am.
Naval.
Present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Navya. Nikhil.
Present, ma'am.
Panindra.
Present, ma'am.
Pavan.
Yes, ma'am.
Pavan, you didn't attend yesterday's class. You're fine, right?
Yeah, ma'am. I'm fine, ma'am.
Pooja.
Present, ma'am.
Purnima.
Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday afternoon, 1 hour you were not there, madam. Raman.
Present, ma'am.
Rashmi.
Present, ma'am.
Rupak.
Yes, ma'am.
Sai Kumar.
Present, ma'am.
Yesterday second hour not there. Samir.
Present, ma'am.
Santosh.
Present, ma'am.
Sadab. Charan.
Network issue things, ma'am.
Shashank.
Present, ma'am.
Yesterday afternoon class we were not there. Sheetal.
Present, ma'am.
Shivani.
Present, ma'am.
Soumya. Soumya.
Present,
So yesterday afternoon class you were not there. Spurti.
Present, ma'am. Midday, ma'am.
Shri Vishnu.
He is present, ma'am. He has put it in chat box.
Sugandhini.
Present, ma'am.
Sushma.
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita. Sushmita.
Present, ma'am.
You.
Present, ma'am.
Tirtha.
Present, ma'am.
Trupti.
Present, ma'am.
Varsha.
Present, ma'am.
Veena.
Present, ma'am.
Any doubt? Any doubt in the second unit? Yes, yes.
Ma'am,
Yes,
yesterday I
Veena?
was present in second hour also, ma'am.
Yeah, I have marked Veena. I didn't call your name, right? Means it you are
Yes,
present.
ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Thank you, ma'am.
Chaitra present.
Chaitra. Chaitra. Yeah.
Ma'am, yesterday I joined late, ma'am.
Jayant. But
Yes,
you were
ma'am.
not there, sir. You were not there, sir. I called 2 times also, sir.
While taking attendance, I was not there, ma'am. Then I joined.
Okay. Yes, Akruti, I'll explain ease a relationship. Here you can see what is the relationship here we have. So we have 3, that is SBI, ACIC and Axis. Both of the 3 wants, they're calling a get a relation, get rate of interest from the base class. So then what we do here is we call separately all the 3. That is SBI rate of interest is 8, 7 and 9. Where was that ease? Yeah. So here what is this easy relation is doing is, so now A is a base class, B is a derived class, and we are creating an upcasting, like what we are doing in a typecasting. Suppose if it is an integer and your resultant is in a double, so what we do, we cast it. Cast it means change from integer to double. Same way here. So what we have done is, so B is a object class and A is a derived class. For upcasting, we use a reference variable of a class type or an interface type. So we can either use, if you want to convert it, so either you can convert, converting like integer to double or integer to float, we are using casting. Similarly here, for the reference of the variable class, we want to change the type, class type. So I want to change either maybe class type to A to B or B to A. So then we use a upcasting. So or an interface. So now if we are using the interface, if we may use interface also, and we say interface type also should be changed. So then that is what is a easy relation. So that's what here interface I. So what is this? This interface is, they're just calling one more interface and we are saying it as a I. And we already seen A class and B is a derived class. And we are extending A to B and I, whenever we are using interface, we know that we have to use a implements. So I is a interface. Here, the relationship of B. So what is the relationship of B? So now, if you're a child, and what is the relationship with your parents? So you're a child of so and so person. So that's what, that is a thing. And if your parent is very influential people. So then we say he is a grandson of so and so. Yes, so that's how here based on their thing we call the relationship. Okay, let me take now Amitabh Bachchan, Aishwarya, and even Aishwarya has a daughter. So then how do we relate it? So we say the kid is a daughter of Aishwarya, or we say granddaughter of Amitabh Bachchan. Same way here, B is a relation with A. Yes or no? Yes, because B is a derived class, A is a base class. And is this not a relation? Yes, it is having, we can acquire all the properties of base class to the derived class. So the same way with implements, because we are using here implements and we want the value of A, so then we can use, B can use relationship with A. And in the same way, object, A's object, whenever you create a base class object, can be derived class, can it access? Yes, it can access. So that's what is a isolation. So if you want some more things, I'll cover it in the next class because it's a time up. Other staff will be waiting.